Are you tired of feeling like rest is lazy? Like if you're not grinding 24/7, you're falling behind? I've been there. If this episode is for you, if you ever tied your worth to your work, your value to your hustle, or your power to how much you can endure, we're flipping the script because your power isn't in overworking, it's in healing. Tune in to reclaim your worth, your energy, and your freedom. Let's talk about how to be powerfully you without burning out to prove it. Welcome to another episode of the Powerfully You podcast, the sacred space where we strip back the layers and get to the truth of who we are beneath the pain, the pressure, and the performance. Today's truth: when being enough meant doing too much. How many of y'all have ever done too much for others without getting anything in return, just to feel used and abused for your kindness? I have. How many of you are still doing too much, expecting people to change for you? I have. How many of you are sick and tired of being the one giving and not being appreciated? Me. I'm here to help you stop overgiving so that you can finally feel enough in a world that won't value who you are in your soul. All of my episodes are personal, and if you've been watching them, you know, because it's about those of us who learned early on that love came with conditions and peace had a price. How many of you felt like you had to be perfect to be loved by your loved ones? I know I did. Are you sick and tired of striving for perfection just to end up unhappy and burned out? Done. We are tired of not being able to be ourselves, the mess that we are as humans. The wound, earning love through effort. I want to ask you something, and I want you to take a breath before you answer it. Did you ever feel like love had to be earned? Like if you didn't try hard enough, show up the right way, or do everything perfectly, you were invisible? That your loved ones will treat you differently if you don't act like they want you to act? That's called the performance wound. And it's something a lot of us carry, especially those of us who had to grow up fast in homes where we were expected to be more than we ever were taught to be. And that's not fair for us who had to endure it. For me, that wound came from being told I wasn't trying hard enough, dragging my feet, being a half ass. But what nobody saw was that my soul was tired. I was resisting perfection, not because I didn't care, but because I didn't feel safe. See, my mother was addicted to drugs in the 80s, and we all know what drug tore families apart in the 80s. I was just a bystander to my family's chaos. My mother and my father, divorced by this time, were separated because of my mother's drug habit. Both were pressured by the world to be perfect, so they both dealt with it differently. My mother got addicted to drugs. My father got addicted to work. They both expected me to be perfect in a world that expected them to be perfect too. We need to ask ourselves, are we trying to push the same agenda that other generations pushed on us? And we know that we didn't like how it felt for us. The need to be perfect all the time. We do not give ourselves the time to be the messy humans that we are. Now, I don't mean being a hot damn mess. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that the human journey is messy. And as soon as we, as a species, can accept that the journey is messy, then we can allow each one of us to be who we came here to be without the need to be perfect, including me. Let me ask you this: when did When did you first believe that your worth was tied to how much you can do? Who taught you that rest was weakness and productivity was love? The programming, childhood scripts we still live by. If you had parents who were emotionally unavailable or perfectionistic, you may have internalized the idea that the only time you were valuable was when you were helping, fixing, performing, or staying quiet and out the way. I know that's how I felt. I don't know about you, but that led to an unhappy childhood for me. I wasn't allowed to be who I came here to be. I know that my parents were trying to protect me and wanted the best for me in those moments, but it also caused me significant pain. I used to work myself to the ground, thinking thinking it made me stronger, trying to be accepted by my hardworking father. One day, after feeling like my father would never love me for who I am, no matter how hard I work, I told him, Dad, you will never accept me for who I am, so I might as well be who I am without your approval. And instantly, I felt the weight lift off me. I could breathe, and I could care less anymore. And he knew too. He noticed the difference. But I was just repeating the same survival scripts I learned as a child to work hard in hopes of being seen. Let's pause right there. What did your caregivers reward you for? And what part of you did they dismiss, ignore, or criticize? I was ignored for being truthful and real. I was dismissed for holding my parents accountable. I was criticized for being who I was. And none of that felt good. Because here's the truth, your inner child wasn't trying to rebel, they were trying to be heard. I just wanted my parents to show me they loved me by being accountable and doing what it was that they said they was going to do. But I got ignored, dismissed, and criticized. I know some of you feel the same way too. I now know that my parents didn't do it on purpose, but it still happened and caused me significant pain. Burnout as a badge of honor. Boy, do I know about burnout. I was praised for working two jobs or going to school and working a full time job while raising three children and holding it all together. But I was stressed, depressed, and I needed a rest. And I said that every day. And you know what people did? They praised me for feeling like that. But inside, I was falling apart. And nobody asked how I was doing because society rewards us for suffering quietly, especially Black women, especially those of us who seem strong. I was taught to look strong all the time, although my soul was hurting and I wanted to be heard. That's when I realized people don't praise your peace, they praise your pain if it looks productive. I'm not going to lie. In those moments, I was proud of myself too. I was like, yep, I did it, and thank you. So, I'm going to ask you this. Are you proud of your burnout because it's the only time you feel seen? Is doing too much your way of avoiding the pain of not feeling like enough? That's not power. That's coping, and I would know. And coping deserves compassion, but it also deserves transformation, which is what I have now done. I now can see that overproducing to get praise from a bunch of people who don't really care about me is not the way to live life anymore. And from now on, I'm going to live my life the way I want to live. And I'm here to tell you, you should too, in your way and what works for you. Turning awareness into power. The moment I started asking why I pushed myself so hard, everything changed. I realized I wasn't building a brand, I was building my worth. I was working like I was working two full time jobs, barely allowing myself to rest. You want to know why? Because of what my family and friends may think of me in my new journey. and whether I will be able to show what I've been doing after I quit my job. Because one thing is for sure, I am a hard worker and self sufficient, and this new path was totally different. And that little girl inside me was still hustling for a hug she never got. Until recently, when she realized that she no longer needs a hug, attention, or love to feel worthy. I feel worthy enough for myself. So I gave it to her. I told her, you don't have to prove yourself to be protected. You don't have to perform to be praised. You are already enough. Let me ask you some more questions. What part of you is still hustling for attention, love, and safety? What would it look like to pause and meet that need directly without overworking? For me, it was hard to do. I felt ashamed to pause, to take care of my emotions so that I could show up as the whole human I worked so hard to be. Not the one that is working to prove my worth to the world, that will never find me worthy because it is founded on feeling unworthy. That's why each generation is feeling more and more worthless. America was founded on trauma and it is shown every day. Redefining power, redefining success. Being powerful to you means honoring your rhythm, flowing with the universe. It means building your dreams without creating your trauma. It means knowing your value isn't in your hustle, it is in your healing. For me now, power is ease, power is flow, power is working in a way that aligns with my nervous system, not against it. Ask yourself this: what does success look like when you don't define it through exhaustion? What does being powerful feel like when you allow yourself to rest, to receive, and to be imperfect? For me, is learning that I can be both. I can be powerful and rest. I can be successful and receive. I can be both and still be worthy, even in a world that won't see my worth. A word to the little you. To the little you who only felt seen when you overperformed. You never had to earn love. You never had to be perfect. You are allowed to be soft. You are allowed to be slow. You are allowed to just be. Powerfully you means showing up exactly as you are, with your flaws, your gifts, your fear, and your freedom. Say it with me. I am enough when I do less. I am worthy when I rest. I am powerful because I'm me. And don't forget to make it work for you, not everybody else, including me. If this episode touched something inside of you, share it with someone else who's been taught to earn their worth. Comment below what belief about work or worth are you ready to let go of today. Don't forget to subscribe and like. I'll be here every episode with your dose of raw truth and real transformation. Until next time, stay rooted, stay real, and stay powerful.